Hiya folks, it's 7 years later, believe it or not. The polytunnel is still standing. It's pouring down with rain. Let's go inside the polytunnel and see how it's fared after 7 years. See you in a minute. Well, here we are folks. It's 7 years later, believe it or not, since I made the first polytunnel video in March 2015, I think it was. The time of me doing this video now, it is May 2021. So it has been up for 7 years, or just over 7 years. And let's just have a look how this polytunnel has fared in all that time. It's had a change of use, as you can see. We're no longer growing gardening stuff in here anymore. It's now sort of an outside extension to my workshop. And this covering which I put on had a 7-year guarantee on it. So has it held up for 7 years? Well, let's have a little look around it. So I haven't cleaned it on the outside. So as you can see from the outside, it's quite dirty, but it still lets plenty of light in, as you can see. You might have seen in the third video, I had to put some extra battening in because we actually had a collapse with the weight of snow on it one year. So you'll see that in the video in the playlist, which I'll leave in the card up there. If you look there, you see actually the build for this polytunnel and also the collapse as well, I think, on the third video. And it's not leaking. It's never leaked in here, although I am situated right under a tree here, a big tree here, and it has dropped the odd twig or branches on it over the years, but it's not actually been punctured at all. And that was the table which I built, as you can see, out of just some scrap wood really I had laying about, and that has now been repurposed and used as a workbench, as you can see. So turning around, the things that have really suffered on it is the actual woodwork, because it was untreated woodwork. Here, for example, this is the original wood, and the screws have actually rotted or broken away at the top there. So I did put some tape up there just to hold it to the hoop sort of thing. I could cure that just by putting some longer screws through the hoops into there, but it would mean me puncturing the outside, so that's why we just wrapped some tape around it. It seems to be doing the job, but again, it's not perfect. But as far as the rest of the construction is concerned, this plastic membrane has actually lasted, and it's not deteriorated at all. It's still as strong and as taut as the day we put it in. And the poles which I put in the ground there were an aluminium pole, which I actually had. I had these laying about the house, but a lot of people use scaffold poles. The membrane sheet which I laid down on the floor, again, as that's been down for the same length of time, that's not let any weeds come through it at all. So that still held everything back that was below there. Although we have got the odd weeds poking their heads around the perimeter, like through there, for example. In fact, that's a tree there that's coming through there, is it? Not sure, but again, you just need to cut them off at ground level and keep on top of them. And as you can see behind this door, for example, we've got some weeds poking their heads up there as well. So a lot of people was asking what this pipe diameter was. So I've got these calipers here. Let's just have a little measure. I don't know. As I said, I know this is called poly pipe, and that is 50. That's 2-inch poly pipe. There you go. So that's what the external diameter of that is. So if I actually measure the internal diameter is of this pipe here, that is 40 mil. So the outside diameter is 50 mil, and it looks like the inside diameter is 40 mil. But as I say, I've seen people use scaffold poles for them. So the cover is a one-piece construction, as you probably see in the build video, and that just got slung over and tied around the edges with some battens to hold it in place. And this was, as I say, I think it was about £100 if I remember rightly. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoops. They look like 5 metre lengths, if I remember right. They're about 5 metre lengths. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 metres looks like the length of them to give you this sort of height. Yeah, I've just measured them hoops. They are 5 metres long, so I have 25 metres of this by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoops. So 25 metres of poly pipe. The external diameter is 50 mil. The internal diameter is 40 mil. And I just had them aluminium pipes, which are just literally knocked into the ground there. They would be quite dear, I'd imagine, if you bought them, so it might be worth investigating other tubing, maybe, as I say, some sort of scaffold tube or steel tube or whatever. Although they will possibly rot, so you need to treat them as well, I would imagine, whereas these aluminium ones won't rot in the ground. So yeah, as you can see, it's totally been a worthwhile project. It probably cost under £200. I can't remember how much exactly the poly pipe did cost, and it's been an ideal little workshop, or an extension to a workshop. I'm sure if you built the equivalent size in a shed, you're talking probably a few £100, maybe £600–700, something like that, to have the same sort of thing. Where this, if you build it yourself, this has lasted, as I said to you, for 7 years. It's never ever leaked. There's no sign of any rot because the external materials are rot proof basically, so you're not going to get the wood rotting or whatever. And don't forget, if you was building the shed as well, you'd need to have the roof felt on there as well. Again, this stuff is like £47 a roll, so the prices will add up. So if you wanted a cheap construction where you wanted a sort of a temporary workshop or whatever, you may want to consider one of these polytunnels, because it seems to have done the job for me. And over 7 years down the line, it's still going strong, and I'm sure you can see that it's doing its job as an extension workshop. I suppose you could even use this as some sort of spray booth as well. If you was into your refurbishing or car repairs or motorcycle restoration or stuff like that, for example, or even furniture restoration, this would make an ideal sort of like a spray booth, or sort of a bodywork booth or something like that, for example. So it's worth considering anyway. I thought I'd just bring this to you because I did do them videos quite a long time ago, and a lot of people have emailed me and asked me, what was the tube, where did you get this from, what was that? I wonder how long it's lasted, because no one's ever done a video, to my knowledge, of this membrane which people put on these polytunnels to see how good they actually last. So this was a 7-year one. This has lasted over 7 years now. No sign of deterioration, no sign of breaking, and this has been out in some really rough weathers as well. Anyway, don't forget, if you do like my videos, check out the playlist up there where you can see this being built, this polytunnel, and also that table being built as well. You can see, if you're a subscriber of my channel, we use this polytunnel quite a lot still, although it will be coming down within the next maybe year or two. It's served its purpose now, because I'm hopefully going to be building some log cabins right along here. I've done some more work in this garden, which we're refurbishing it now. So let's quickly take you outside and show you what I've been up to in the garden over them years. So although I no longer do gardening anymore, we concentrate more now on our restoration stuff and things like that. The raised bed which I built is going to be coming down, that raised bed there. I'm going to be building more log cabins coming on from that one over there. So you can see we've been doing some cement work here. This is where the pond used to be, if you look at my other gardening videos, which we had sorted out. So this has been converted to lawn, this part here. We lifted all that patio down there, which I'm in the process now of relaying this. This is a new patio going down now, as you can see. But every time I do come out here, just like today, for example, I just turn the camera on, it starts raining. So there you go. So that's what I'm doing here at the moment. And this used to be decking up here, where I used to repair all my lawnmowers outside in my lawnmower repair videos. And you can probably see there, we've started to backfill now where the decking used to be now. And we're going to be putting a cement base along here, coming right the way along here. A chap was supposed to be coming today to remove this. I don't know whether he will come today now, because all this will be soaking wet. And up to there will be the continuation of the log cabins. That's the second phase of it. And the third phase of it will be, when all that's done, that will all then come down there, and we'll put a base down there, and there will be a complete workshop along there as well. So the whole wall there will be one continuous workshop sort of thing. But I'm sure you can see that the polytunnel has been sitting under this tree for the last 7 years. It has dropped loads of branches, and every year the leaves drop on it. And I'm sure you can see, although look at the weeds growing up on the inside there, look. It has actually done its job. It's never burst through anywhere. That was the tape you put over the poles to stop it from ripping. So that has stayed on there. I forget what the name of that tape was, but I'm sure you'll be able to tell me. So yeah, there you go. That's the polytunnel after all them years. So there we go, folks. This is Barney. You remember Barney? You've seen him in the videos. He's now 7 years old. He's an old boy now. I think he's 13, or coming up to 13 years old. And yeah, the other dogs, unfortunately, have all left us. And as I say, he's still here. He's an old boy now, just like me. And anyway, thanks very much, folks. So don't forget to check out the playlist of the polytunnel build. And if you check out my Retrorestore channel, you'll see that we're using this on a regular basis as a temporary workshop. Anyway, thanks very much, folks. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.